Okay.
This meeting is being recorded.
Heard that before.
Yeah, that was like an echo, right? Was that me? It was like an echo.
No, I don't know whose it came from, but I've never heard that before.
That was weird. Okay. Welcome to our collective call. I heard last week you did a bit of a round robin. I think I'm going to go ahead and mute everyone just because there's a bit of an echo. So please feel free to unmute yourself when you want to speak, or put your hand up if and I can like ask to unmute you if you're having an issue unmuting yourself. But just for the sake of it, even when Amity and I are not talking, we will mute ourselves just to make sure that there isn't feedback. This week, our 5-minute email was all about self-compassion and getting into your hips, and also 4 weeks for every body and 4-week gut protocol coming up in 2 weeks from today. So Amity, you said that we were just talking about it before the call. You said that last week kind of did like a round robin. So do you want to lead that? I'm just going to be a spectator because that sounds fantastic.
Well, we just had a lot of dialogue and it was really kind of nice. I don't know. But I'm curious, who has done the 4 weeks for everybody sample workout? Yeah, Ellen, Cher, Austin, have you done it? No? All right, I got to scroll because I have on my phone. Lauren, have you done it? Not yet? Dee Dee, have you? Oh, Kelly, have you done it? All right. Well, Jordan has. I know she has, even though she's not on, her screen's not on. I loved it. I thought it was. Yeah,
hey,
it's in the email.
I haven't done it. I haven't done it.
I thought you did it yesterday. You better do it.
No, I'm lazy. Freaking Megan has my legs so sore I can't even stand up from a chair right now.
Yeah, we've been doing MBF. So yeah, we're back on the MBF train until the 4 weeks kicks off. So I am planning, and I think Sharon is planning on, we can purchase on the 15th and we're going to start on the 28th. And so that way we can prep a little bit between, we can actually get the material. I just listened to a call with Autumn. And I'm glad I listened to it actually, because I know that she talks about the supplements that we use that we can, like, are already in Beachbody On Demand that we can purchase, but don't do it because they're the wrong dosing. So she said, like, the Optimize and the Revitalize, we do use that in the 4-week gut protocol, but it's the wrong dosing. There's not enough of the supplements in the bottle, so you would have to buy 2 instead of 1. So she said, just wait. She's like, as much as people want to jump in and get it, don't do it yet, just wait. So anyways, I didn't know that because I was about to order it because I knew what was going to happen. So anyway, I thought the workout was great. I thought it was not easy, right? Even though it's non-impact, I thought it was not easy. But I think it's going to be good. And it just like every sample workout, it's not the exact formatting, right? Because she's giving us a little taste of every day's worth. But anyway, what do you think about it, Cher?
Yeah, I thought it was challenging. When I did it, I was really not in the mood to like jump around as we do a lot in like 9-week, for example. So I was pleasantly perfect with, because I've been doing like week 4, I've been doing lift 4, and then like throwing in my own running or whatever following 30-day, like when I want to bounce around. But so I was happy that it wasn't that it was non-impact. I thought it gave a lot of room to scale, but to make it challenging, which I really like. I like when it's more inclusive of a wider range of fitness and abilities. I also, just as a note for anyone who may want to start it later, I'm thinking about, because I was looking at the calendar today, our Moira asked when we were going to do it. I'm thinking about actually doing it April 11th. I think that's that first Monday, because my wife deploys that weekend before, and who knows what types of dessert she'll want to be doing the week before she leaves, because she won't have it on her deployment. And I just don't want to set myself up to not participate or to feel guilty about whatever. So if anyone wants to start it later, I'm looking as of like an hour ago, maybe starting at April 11th, still ordering everything and getting on board and like being a really positive cheerleader and bystander for those who start before me. But I'm looking at probably starting it on April 11th or whatever that first Monday is after that weekend, so that I don't have any like temptations to not follow through with it. And that's just because I want to set myself up for success when, going through it for the first time, just as much as anyone else would.
Well, that'll be nice too. So that way we can have a couple waves coming in to do it. So if anyone jumps in late or any new people that jump in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Perfect. Ellen, what did you think about the workout? Oh, you got to unmute.
I liked it because with my knees, I don't want to be jumping around. So I felt there was enough that, I could get a workout. And it's kind of supplemental for me too, because I do so many things. So I thought it was good.
Yeah, perfect. Well, and the thing about this program is it's 4 days a week, 30 minutes or less a day. So what I like about that is the same thing I liked about job one. It's like, you can do it and you can do a body workout if you want to, or if you want to supplement like some Vetus, like we love Vetus. So, or anything, any other thing that you want. If you want to go for a run, you're not going to be so exhausted that you wouldn't be able to do it, but you're still going to have a great workout. Even I did it with Sadie, my daughter. If you know her, she's like the most fit person in the world, not in the world, but she's very fit. And she was like, "Oh, this really gets your heart rate up." So on just the 1 minute cardio portion. So I felt good about that. I felt good that I was holding my own.
Oh, to be in your 20s.
Exactly.
I will make sure that I actually thought that I did. I will make sure that the sample workout is in the email, and I'm also going to link it I'll put it in the comments of the YouTube announcement right at the bottom of to you.
All right, I'll have to look in the email and see if it was in there. I thought it was in there. But if not, we can definitely.
Yeah, I just saw it on Everyday Elevated or whatever.
Okay. I'll have to look in the email. Kelly, how are you this week?
I'm doing okay. Coming off of getting a permanent crown put on my mouth, and just run around.
I am the queen of bad dental.
Oh, I've got you beat. We've been working on my mouth for almost 2 years.
Well, I hate it for you because I've had to have 4 root canals root canaled because I will say this: don't ever let your dentist do a root canal. Go to the specialist. I trusted my dentist to do my root canal, so they're like, "Oh yeah, I do them all the time." So I let them do them, and they just don't have the tools to see down in there. And I have one canal that doesn't go straight down; it's crooked, and I guess that's a what do you call it? Genetic thing. And so I have one canal that never got cleaned out of 4 different teeth, and I had to get them all redone. It's through crowns, like crowns were put on. I had to root canal through the crowns. It's not fun. So I'm sorry about that. But you're feeling better?
Yeah.
Good.
Yep.
Wonderful. Lauren, how are you this week?
I am great, thanks. I'm actually in a hotel. I
Are
am
you?
I'm having a spa week with my mom and my sister.
Oh,
Yay!
this is your like reward, right?
It is. This is my 8 weeks of doing the max 30. So this is it. I did a hotel workout this morning in my room because the gym here doesn't open up until 9:30. So, which is crazy. I
Really?
know.
Where
Yeah.
where are you?
The Norwich Inn and Spa in Connecticut.
Nice.
And yeah, it's very nice. But the gym, which is in the spa, doesn't open up until 9:30. So I just said, you know what? I'll just do a workout this morning in my room and make do. I did one of the boxing ones. I'm doing the hybrid between the which one is it? It's God, what is it called? The MBF and the
10 rounds.
9 rounds?
10 weeks.
10 rounds.
10 rounds. So I'm doing the hybrid of that. So this morning I did, week 1, day 3, and I didn't bring my loops. I forgot them, but I made do. Towel that we have in the room, and it was fine. Tomorrow morning, I don't know. I'm going to try to wait until the gym opens at 9:30. If not, I'll just make do with stuff that I have in the room. I have some water here. I have wine. I can use the wine as my weights. So,
Awesome.
but yeah,
Perfect.
great. Thanks. Yeah.
Perfect. Dee Dee, what about you? What's up this week? Gotta unmute though. Can you unmute? Okay. All right. Austin, I see you. I see all your workouts today, girl. Austin been working it out.
Hi. When we have my stepdaughter, we go every other week. So just getting home.
That's good. That's good. Your food looked good today too.
It was pretty good.
Austin, when's your wedding? October?
October 29th.
Okay. I have a few people, a few challengers that are getting married soon. Getting them ready. Sure, what were you gonna say before your
pumpkin for Austin's?
Oh,
Yeah, Jordan's got to get ready too. She's
oh
my
my Lord.
matron.
Perfect. Oh, perfect. You got to share?
Yeah,
sample?
I just dropped the sample workout into the comments here. Don't worry about saving it. I also just attached it to, so the video at the bottom of the weekly newsletter that always has like announcements or things to look out for. I put my word is just left. I put the link for the sample into the description of that video. So when you click on it, it takes you to YouTube to watch it. The link is also there in the description. And I'll include it in the newsletter, like directly from the newsletter next week as well.
Perfect. Thank you. That's awesome. Awesome. Anyone else doing any other programs right now? What you guys got going on? Nothing?
Did anyone do the self-compassion quiz or look at some of the tips and resources in that link?
I struggle with any link that goes to the New York Times because I have to subscribe. It's not just you. So just know that they make me sign in and want me to buy a subscription. I'm trying to follow some stuff out of Washington and about somebody, and I keep going to the New York Times and I can't subscribe. I won't subscribe because I just want that article. But I did look at the mindful one, and I actually shared it with another group of mine, because we set goals every month, and it's a good reminder to, don't beat yourself up over what you didn't do. Accept it and just move on. So
I just linked another one. I just linked another option, a non-New York Times one, into the comments here. And I will put that into next week's newsletter. So if you had trouble getting to New York Times, I'm sorry about that. I didn't even realize that it would make some do that. So my apologies to that. If anyone else, if the test was behind a paywall for you, I'm super sorry about that. I didn't know it would happen. But I just linked another that you can easily click on and fill out. It's with self.compassion.org, which is a really fantastic resource. I will probably be resourcing and referencing them in the future, but it's a really easy to remember. It's self.compassion.org. self-compassion-test with a /. So really easy to remember. Just keep repeating self-compassion with a couple like characters in there and you'll figure it out. But that's a really great little test. And it's not meant to be like one of those Cosmo things where it's like, let's find out how, did I just date myself with Cosmo and their tests and quizzes? I don't know. Amity says no. I loved them. Even though it was like, how much is red your best color? It was like the dumbest things. But this is really, all it's meant to do is bring some awareness into how compassionate you are with yourself, because we are so often critical of ourselves more than anyone else, right? How many times have you said or heard other people say, I'm my own worst critic, right? And it's actually more common, especially with the guilt cycle, for women than it is for men. And I'm not actually trying to overgeneralize. In mixed groups, people don't typically speak up about self-compassion. But then when you separate women from men, a lot of the talk is around how do we get over the guilt of, like, if I put myself first, then this other group that I love will have less time, money, energy, X. So the self-compassion is a little bit of recognizing that you are the most important person in your life. Not your kids, not your spouse, you. And the more we're able to recognize that and give ourselves grace and the love that we typically reserve for other people, the more open we become to receiving the love of other people as well. How many times have you received a compliment and tried to say, no. And I do it too. The more we love ourselves, the more you love yourself, the more you recognize that you are, in fact, the best person in your life, the greatest person in your life, the person most deserving of love, the most important person, the easier it also becomes to receive love from other people and to recognize, because you then start to feel as though you're deserving of it. So I would love the next time we talk to hear that you've taken that test, if only to have some discussion about what stood out. Also, I'm going to recommend that, Amity and I haven't even talked about this. I'm going to recommend that one of the next personal development books is The High Five Habit. If you haven't read it yet, I would highly recommend putting it on your next to read or listen to list. Jordan's reading it right now. Jordan's hand is up. Kelly raised her hand in the thing. So Jordan, we'll go to Kelly first and then Jordan. Kelly, what do you have?
Something I have to remind myself as a family caregiver for my husband who has a disability is that if I'm not well, if I'm hurting or, not taking care of myself, I can't take care of him, and I think that can apply to those who have kids and family members that count on them, is just to remind myself that, yes, I should be doing this for myself, but I'm also doing it for them because a better me makes me a better able to take care of them.
So insightful. Absolutely. Thank you, Kelly. And it's true. I mean, if you have a hard time putting yourself first for the sake of putting yourself first, put yourself first so that, right? So that you can be able to put those who more naturally come to the forefront of your mind as being really important in your life, to take care of them. If you are down and out because your body has said, you know what, wave the white flag. If you are down and out, then yeah, I mean, taking care of and being there for others becomes really difficult. Thank you so much, Kelly. Jordan, your hand was up earlier.
All right, well,
Oh, sorry.
and when Jordan's ready. Oh, there she goes.
There she goes.
There's this stupid little camera thing, sparkly that keeps moving on my screen that makes so I keep clicking buttons. Anyways, have we ever considered doing a book club? like we all read High Five Habit or whatever it is together. Like, have we ever done anything like that as
I tried it once. And it fizzled, but I'm not opposed to I'm not opposed to doing it again, for sure. If I get commitments, I'm doing it. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, would we be open to a book club, Jordan?
I mean, I'm down for a book club. You just gotta give me like, you just gotta give me some advanced notes because I'm a slow reader. And let's just do an article, then I'll be right up with everybody else.
I think your headphones might be in need of a charge, maybe, because you're going a bit in and out and you sound a bit like you're in water. I don't know if that's just me, Amity's shaking her head, but it sounds like you said that as long as we go slow, but you'll keep up.
I'm sorry, I don't know what the deal is with those. I don't care. I'm just a slow reader, so I can either do it on Audible to keep pace with everybody. It just depends on what we do. Like, are we doing like an entire book in a month? Or are we doing like, an entire book in a week? It just kind of depends on how we do it.
Well, and we could totally do whatever. We could do it over the course of a month, so the people who want to read can read, and the people who want to Audible can Audible. Like, if you're like me on Audible, I have like 5 books going at the same time. And I just listen to them at different times of the day. But I loved High Five Habit. I would listen to it again starting tomorrow. I loved it so much. And I was kind of resistant to it. Like, I'm like, what's all the hype about? Like, Mel Robbins, like, I like her, but like, really, it's that good? People are like going crazy about it. I started listening to it and I could not stop. I think I listened to the whole book in like 2.5 days. Yeah, I loved it. It was good.
I mean, we could do like kind of a topic. We could, I think it would be pretty cool if we decide to do this. I think it'd be pretty cool to kind of incorporate it into the newsletter and make that part of the discussion, right? You don't know this, but you've essentially been on a book club with me, because a big part of the way that I have structured a lot of the mindset work that we've done in the newsletters have been based on what I'm reading. And I just read a book that has been sitting on my shelf for over a year that I was just never really ready for yet. And it was Jen Sincero's Badass Habits. And I've had it. Katie gave it to me for Christmas over a year ago. And I just wasn't ready for it. And then I was ready for it. And then, you all came along the journey. Same thing with What to Say When You're Talking to Yourself. I think my mother mailed me like 85 copies of that book like 2 years ago. Because she said, one for you, one for Katie, and then others to give away. And I was like, that's what libraries are for. But and also Katie and I share clothes. Like we don't need our own book. So I think it'd be pretty cool and it doesn't have to be at a fast pace. We could do a chapter a week. Like, I think that could be pretty easily digestible. And if you want to read ahead, great. Just come back to our conversation, or listen ahead, come back to our conversation with what stood out to you. Does anyone have any thoughts on that? I know that we don't want to railroad, whatever the word is, on whatever personal development you're doing. But if the group would be open to that, I think it could be pretty cool to discuss together. And the High Five Habit is something to do every day. But it takes absolutely zero extra time from you. And it's literally just high-fiving yourself in a mirror.
Which is why I think I thought it was so hokey. Like, I mean, obviously it sounds hokey, but once I listened to it, I got it, But do you know how many chapters are in the book? I can look real quick, but okay. Because that might help us to pace. Like, if there's 26 chapters, we're not going to do 1 chapter a week. That would be obscene. Maybe half a year on one book.
There are 15 chapters. And the very first one is a whole chapter about why to do it. But there are 15 chapters. I think a slower pace better than a faster pace, so that everyone feels comfortable. I'd rather be behind in our discussion than ahead, for the purposes of people who don't feel like they have a ton of time or the means to read extra. But I don't care how we do it. I just think I would love to do a book club. Kelly, go ahead.
Would it work well with Atomic Habits? Because that's what I'm in the middle of reading right now, and I don't.
100%. 100%.
I don't want to have opposing or.
No,
information that-
it would complement. I actually think it would complement just about every personal development book you're reading right now, frankly, because what it does is it takes Atomic Habits is a great example. Atomic Habits is all about the science behind building habits. This is a habit. So what it does is it actually takes personal development about the things like the rationale and the science and the reasons on how to structure a habit and everything else. What it does is the high five habit kind of gives you it gives you a tangible way to build momentum, I think. And Mel is really great about giving you personal anecdotes that you can see yourself in. I do genuinely believe, with the relationship with our parents, the relationship with our kids, and how she brings some of those anecdotes about self-compassion ultimately into life. So whether you're reading Atomic Habits or the 12-week year or the 5 a.m. club or the Miracle Morning, I'm just thinking of some like even Darren Hardy's Compound Effects or Jen Sincero's You Are a Badass. Honestly, I think that there are very few books out there that will complement whatever you're doing right now as this would. This is what it looks like, the high five habit.
And it's just a super easy read or listen. Like it's
Yeah.
very, I feel like it's very relatable.
And
But
honestly,
it might just be, that might be just because I'm old, like, and she's like my same age.
no, I don't think so. And she breaks them. There are lots of breaking points, which I love when I'm reading. It's not just like you have to get to the end of the chapter, but on any given page, if I can even open up to where my bookmark is, there's multiple bold spots, right? So if you only get through a paragraph or something, you can still feel good about coming back later, and you don't feel like you've bitten off more than you can chew by opening the book. Does that make sense for people? There are, like, if you're reading it, physically reading it, there are a ton of great places to just stop and come back to. So it makes the text, I think, a lot more digestible. I'm interested in, I'll do the audio when the group is, if we do this all together, I'll do the audio so that I can consume it in a different way. But I'm sure that there are equally great numbers of stopping points. And I would recommend, if you're reading Kelly, Atomic Habits, I don't know if listening to things, if you're able to absorb in the same way, but if absorbing things through different mediums is something that works for each of you, Ellen, Dee Dee, Jordan, Lauren, if that works, then I would recommend trying to consume through a different medium, because maybe then it won't feel like you're reading and taking in too many different things or listening to too many different things. I know my sister doesn't listen to podcasts for that reason.
My
She
issue
can't.
is that I'm taking notes, and it's causing me to do some really heavy duty personal and inner work with my counselor. So so I just, yeah, and I try not to, I have such a hard time finishing tasks that I don't want to add something else to it without knowing that would distract me from finishing the first task I want to do. That's all. That's
For
the
sure.
only reason why I'm asking. So.
No, for sure. And if you, Kelly, or anyone else, if you are really into your personal development right now, just put high five habit next on to do. And that way, when you go through it, you'll be like, oh man, we talked about this. It'll relate. there's no requirement to go through anything, you know, at any given time. I would just say, if you're really into it and you're an all or nothing kind of with personal development or whatever you're reading, I'm kind of like Amity. I have 3 books that I'm reading right now, and multiple podcasts, but that's because different time of day for me is a different type of, is a different brain function for me. I do my personal development reading in the morning, and I don't do it at any other time of the day. It's only in the morning for me. And I find that when I come to it later, my brain is just not into it. So this is all about figuring out what works best for each of you. And what works for Kelly may not work for me, and what works for me may not work for you. And that doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong. It means that you're doing it right. I mean, because this is all just one big deduction. Oh, that doesn't work for me. Let me go in this direction. Right?
But let me just say, add this, not working for you, be careful that you're just not, it's just not making you a little uncomfortable. Like, you still want to push yourself into that growth space, instead of just like, oh, this is too hard. It's not easy. This is not working for me. You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense? Like when I teach a class, I'll tell my class, and Ellen knows this, like, I talk about pleasant discomfort versus stabbing pain, right? You want this personal development to be a little pleasant discomfort. So you know that you're growing, not just, but if it's stabbing pain, you got to back off and find a new way. Does that make sense?
100%. Does, would anyone like to share? We've got Kelly, Ellen, Dee Dee, Amity, Austin, about, you know, any moments where you noticed self-compassion this week, or did you try out the hip flexor stretches or the recipes? Any thoughts on that newsletter into practice for tonight?
I love the hip flexors. And Amity, we have never done it where you're turning your leg in. Like, I've never done that. So tomorrow morning I'll have to try. After class today, I used a belt, and I really stretched my hamstrings, and I, you know, tried to get my IT band, and knock on wood, we'll see how I feel tomorrow. But all those little crazy feelings I have on the outside of my leg felt better. So fingers crossed.
That's perfect. I actually, when I made the video, thought about you, Ellen, because I was actually talking to Jordan about that. I had never thought about, I mean, I go straight on, I turn out, but I'd never thought about turning in the lunge. And it did feel awkward to me. But when I was doing it, when we were talking about it, you know, she's a physical therapist, so we were talking about it, and then I did it in the video, and I was like, oh, this is going to be good for Ellen. So
Thank you.
good.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, it is, what time for you guys? 8:06. I've never been on this call on the West Coast time before. It's only 5 o'clock here. It's crazy. If no one else has anything, Dee Dee, I feel like you were going to say something, but you were muted and had to go. Are you good? Okay.
Good. Yeah.
Okay.
You like
Oh, your audio is so messed up again.
like same time, and yeah, he's less forgiving anymore.
Oh, I have no
I'm
idea what
good,
you're
though.
saying. Oh, I heard that. Okay, perfect. Your audio is really garbled. So if you have a question, put it in the chat for sure.
Okay.
But I'm glad you're here. I love to see your shadow in the background. You need to put some light on your face, Dee Dee. We need to see you. There you go. There she is. Perfect. Perfect. All right, y'all.
Well,
Have a great
thanks for coming
week.
tonight. Yeah.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.